everyone. Welcome back to the Jack and Jeremy Show. Justin and James have better things to do this week, so they're not with us. The Sweet 16 and the Elite Eight concluded last week. Since both Notar and JB didn't do very well predicting that, maybe that's the cause of their absence this week. But before we get into that, let's recap our weekend at the Frozen Four. Men's hockey team, they fell in overtime to Hobart in the national championship. There's the game-winning goal right there from my view in the broadcast booth. Jack was down at ice level. We'll get into that in a little bit. It's fantastic celebration from the Hobart crowd, and there's my reaction. I was distraught. I was distraught. So was Ray Biggs. I really, really enjoyed the weekend. I thought it was a lot of fun, Jack. Just an unfortunate ending.
Yeah, me and you got to call it together, the Geneseo Hobart game, the semifinal game, and then you were also on that Utica Curry game, which was also, both those games were super duper fun. We were rinkside doing our game day, which hopefully y'all tuned in for. It was a super duper fun weekend. Again, unfortunately, championship, Utica couldn't pull through, but super fun experience regardless. Yeah,
it was really, of course, a great experience for us, but I think the whole city of Utica, it really was something that we've never seen before, literally, because that was Utica's first time ever in a national championship in any sport, and it's only fitting that the hockey program was the one to do it. Again, unfortunately, they couldn't bring home the hardware, had a lot of chances. Drake Morris, I believe, it was Johnny Malera, Johnny Malera hit the post in overtime, and from where I was standing with Ray, we thought it went in. Yeah. We didn't hear the referee signal off the post, and that kind of felt like the moment where that was like all the Pioneers had left to give. But all weekend long, between the first game of the tournament of the Frozen Four with Geneseo and Hobart, calling that game was a fantastic experience. Then transitioning into the Utica game day pregame show with us, James Brown, and our very own Nico Leonard. It was nice to get him on set this week. He was phenomenal, had great insight, and then doing every intermission report, post-game reports, and obviously calling the games as well. It was a great experience, and we're going to roll it into what head coach Gary Heenan, goalie Ryan Piros, and the overtime hero Eric Vitale had to say after the semifinal win against Curry.
The crowd was electric and the support was there when we needed a lift. I hated our first period. I didn't think either team were really good first period. Apprehensive, big moment, big stage. Second periods, we've been very good all year. I thought we took the game. Second period, we earned the right to be ahead. Third period, we had chances to extend the lead. And Vito had a beautiful breakaway, and he's usually money on those. And he took that challenge on, obviously, going into OT. But you go back to OT, and it's really a second period with a long change, and it's been our best period if you look back. We've enjoyed that. Skulls made a play. Piros is making saves when we needed to. Really tight checking team. Not a lot of odd man rushes all night. Their goalie obviously sensational. We found a way with a couple key goals that those are the ones you're going to score, big screens, and then off pad to backdoor. So hats off to Curry. What a heck of a season. They deserve all the accolades they've got. Proud of our team. Super. We were tested again. Resilient came through.
I just went with a game plan, give up less than the other guy, and then I knew the boys had my back throughout, so not really extra pressure. It was kind of just another game, and it was nice being at home too. So
to start off is just coach was telling us start a game to win battles. There's a loose puck behind the net. I was fortunate to win that battle and take it up and find Scoville out in the open there. And as great as he is at shooting, that could have been more of a perfect shot on pad for me crashing the net to bury it home for Utica. It was a great feeling, and I'm extremely excited for Sunday.
Me personally, I was really impressed with what Ryan Piros had to say. Again, a transfer, came over from Dubuque, Iowa. From what I was told, didn't win there. I don't think he had a win as a member of that college. Transfer here mid-season, and yeah, I thought he was very, very poised in his interview. Sorry, grammar's not really my thing. Really poised in his interview. Again, only a freshman, and through all the adversity, all the toughness he's dealt with over his short Pioneer career, he's kind of been a wall for them.
Yeah, he doesn't seem to let anything mental or outside of the actual game get to his head, which is something that's really admirable and really impressive, especially from such a young player that's made such a big impact on that Utica team.
Yeah, and we were able to speak to his dad as well after the game, and his old goalie coach. They caught us in the parking lot, so it was really cool to see people other than our mothers and fathers who watched the pregame show and everything. So it was nice to talk to him. Great people. And again, shout out to them for all the nice words they said to us. Before we get into March Madness, we have one more final clip we want to share with you. Our very own James Brown, who is quote-unquote not a hockey guy, got an experience of what a national championship hockey atmosphere really feels like. So let's roll that clip.
Kelly! 1-0. You'll see this on the...
Yeah, not a hockey guy, but I mean, from that clip, that was on the official NCAA broadcast, in case you weren't familiar, if you weren't tuned in. Not a hockey guy, but I mean, Utica scored the goal to take the lead in the national championship. All of a sudden, anybody's a hockey guy. Can we see that one again in slow motion? Yeah, not a hockey guy. That looks like a hockey guy to me.
Dude.
Yeah, I think we can officially, this is the official, I think, statement, not from James Brown himself, but I think we can agree. James Brown is officially a hockey guy. He told me he was watching a hockey game the other day on his own time. So congratulations to James Brown, new hockey guy.
Yeah, I think we have now birthed a new side of JB. The hockey side of him will now come out until the Devils lose in the first round.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get into March Madness. Again, March Madness almost over. And as sad as that is, Jack, it's nice to know that my bracket is still holding up much better than No Charge because Purdue, they didn't stand a chance against Houston.
Also better than Eric Corey's, who had Clemson.
He was busted like the fourth game of the tournament. The Final Four gets underway this Saturday night with Florida taking on Auburn at 6:09 p.m. and then Duke playing Houston at 8:49 p.m. I mean, it's kind of a chalk year as we brought up last week, but all 4 1 seeds, I think the committee totally nailed that. And again, Jack, I mean, based off my personal predictions last week, I think I kind of hit the nail right on the head.
Yeah, I was not as confident. I mean, I've been a Duke hater since the first round. I didn't have them going. I think I had them beating Baylor. That was as far as they were going at Arizona. I'm sure you guys remember that last episode. I didn't like Duke going deep, but I mean, I think such a young team is kind of what scared me about them. But again, they've proven me wrong. I had in my bracket that I made in my group, I think with you, I had a lot of the 2 seeds that were going to be the ones in the Final Four, and it's all 1 seeds. So again, like you said, shout out to the committee. They did a great job predicting this.
Yeah, and I mean, again, kind of a chalky year with, all the mid-major teams not really even standing a chance. Obviously, an upset with McNeese State over Clemson, and to be honest with you, that's really the only mid-major upset. The only other one that was notable was Arkansas over St. John's, but those are still 2 Power 4 schools in college basketball, Arkansas being from the SEC. But yeah, the Final Four, I mean, again, kind of a boring year with all 1 seeds in there. It hasn't been like that for a while. But I really, truly think that Duke is the most talented college basketball team I've seen in such a long time. And yeah, JB was talking last week about experience. And yes, I do think experience plays a big role, especially in tournaments like this. But when you have a guy like Cooper Flagg and talent surrounding him like Con Knuppel, Malik Brown, Tyrese Proctor, I mean, the list goes on, and that roster is insanely deep. I don't think the experience factor really diminishes their team that much.
Yeah, I think they do have a deep roster. Con Knuppel is a guy that I've been. He's I think my favorite player on that Duke team. Again, a Duke team that I don't really like that much. I think the Duke-Houston game will be really exciting. I think both the Final Four games are going to be super exciting to watch. I'm definitely going to be tuned into Duke-Houston more intently than Auburn-Florida. I do like Auburn or Florida to beat Duke, though, if they make it to the championship. I mean, I know I've said that about Alabama. I said that about Arizona. I said that about every single game so far, and I've been proven wrong. But I'll say it again. I'll stick with it. I'm doing the James Brown tactic, just sticking with being wrong and just being consistent.
Well, the James Brown tactic did work Sunday night, unfortunately. He did pick Hobart over Utica, so he finally got a pick right. But I don't know. I mean, this Duke team, again, I'm going to keep rehashing the same thing. They are just, I feel like they're just so much better than everybody else. Like, the competition's here, and I just feel like Duke is just light years beyond everybody else. I'm really interested about that Florida-Auburn game. I mean, 2 SEC teams. Again, Florida, a team who won the SEC. Auburn with Janai Broom, I believe the Wooden Player of the Year award nominee, up with Cooper Flagg and Mark Sears, Walter Clayton as well, and Purdue's Braden Smith. I have been on Florida probably since November, December. I know I was texting with my old GA, Nick DeLucia, and we were talking about how much we love this Florida team. He actually has a ticket for Florida to win the national championship.
Wow.
But his roommate, Josh Pesnell, a big WWE fan, shout out Josh, has a ticket for Duke to win the national championship. So that house is going to get a little crazy this weekend, especially if both those teams do advance to the national championship. And to be honest with you, Jack, that is my national championship. I have Florida beating Auburn, and I have Duke taking care of Houston. And ultimately, I think Duke is going to win the national championship. I don't think anyone can really compete with that. And I just think they're kind of, again, light years above everybody else. I mean, that roster is so talented. And yeah, don't get me wrong. I think Walter Clayton's great. But I don't see how they match up with guys like Cooper Flagg, Kyle Knuppel, Tyrese Proctor, the center Malawak. Like they don't have guys who can stop them. And to be honest with you, call me crazy. This may be a crazy take. You can pan back to the far cam. I want to get his reaction on the show for everybody else.
Uh-oh.
But listen, I think that Duke could honestly beat like the Washington Wizards.
No.
You don't think so?
No.
They're bad.
I think we've seen this argument in like college football a lot. It's like, could that? I think I saw someone saying, like one of the Florida, the Miami team, a couple years ago, a couple decades ago, could they beat like that 0-17 Cleveland Browns team?
Oh, like the Tim Tebow Florida team?
Yeah, them. And we've seen it with like the 2019 LSU. Could that be? And then like every like football professional like that's really involved was like, no way. Like, you look at these like bench guys on NFL rosters. They're like the best players that have ever come out of like their state high school or their college. Like, I mean, I get it because like the really hyped up college teams. I just, in my personal opinion, I think the college to professional gap is just so great, and even like the worst professional players are like the best at their college.
Yeah, that's a fair take. I understand, but again, listen, you heard what I think about this weekend. Let's hear what you think about the Final Four.
Unfortunately, I think I'm gonna take Duke as well over Houston. I think the only thing that Houston has over Duke is the defense. I don't think that their offense is going to be able to produce enough. I mean, if you look at their last two games, they haven't broken 70 points, and I don't think that's going to be enough to beat Duke. No. Look, I mean, against Tennessee, they put up 69 points. They did hold Tennessee to 50 points, which is insane. Purdue, they beat 60-62. Like, these are low-scoring games. I think Duke scores too much. Again, this Houston defense might give them a little bit of a problem, but I don't think they're going to be able to score enough to make that enough. Auburn, Florida is the one I'm really stuck on. I'm going to take Auburn because I've been taking Auburn. They've been going deep in my brain the whole time since the first round. So I'm just going to stick with my gut and take Auburn just because I like the way they've been playing. Again, I think they've got really good defense. They'll be able to stop Florida, and they've also got the scoring ability. So I like that Auburn-Duke matchup in the championship.
I don't hate that take at all. I mean, I think Duke, again, is shoo-in to get there. Auburn-Florida game, I really think it depends on the scoring. If it's low scoring, that really favors Auburn.
Yeah.
But if Florida wants to run, they want to play with pace, I think that really favors them. Again, Auburn, a team who can fill up the bucket. Again, Janai Broom, they got Pettiford, Chad Baker, Mazzara. The roster is loaded. But Florida, they love to run and gun. Walter Clayton Jr. is one of those guys who can get up and down the court. We saw him completely take over that game in the final couple minutes against Texas Tech. And he was kind of just running around in circles, dribbling around, and just pulling back from three and just raining them. I mean, he was shooting it, running back on defense like Steph Curry.
And I think a lot of people weren't giving Texas Tech enough credit. I know all you guys, James, Justin, you guys were not giving Texas Tech, I think, nearly enough credit. I thought they were a really good team. I liked them a lot. I don't remember if I picked them beating Florida. I just don't remember, honestly. I probably did, knowing me. But I thought they were a really good team, and I think Florida deserves a pretty good amount of credit for being able to beat them.
Yeah, Texas Tech had that game won, it felt like. It was, they were up 10 with 6 or 4 minutes to go, something like that. And again, Walter Clayton just found a way to battle back in that game. He pretty much, it was just him, in the final 4 minutes.
Yeah, and that's something that is difficult in college if you have like just one guy kind of carrying your team. I mean, that's what kind of starts these Cinderella stories we see in the early rounds. In past years, I mean, Jack Golke is the one that initially comes to mind. He was my guy out of that. What was that team? Oakland?
Oakland.
Yeah, there was. I mean, you can do that early in the rounds if you're playing against teams that are able to kind of slip by. But again, if you just got one guy that's not going to put you deep in the tournament to beat, again, these teams like Duke or Florida.
Yeah, but it's going to be a great weekend of college basketball. Very excited to see it. Again, I have Duke win the national championship. You got Auburn?
I'm stuck between Auburn and Duke now in the national championship. I don't think I can bring myself to say Duke's going to win the national championship.
I think you're in too deep with the hate train. That's what I really think.
Is
You're
that
in too
what
deep
it
with the
is?
Duke hate. You can't go back now.
But I'm picking Duke to beat Houston. I'm not just fully hating.
Well,
I know they're a
if
good
you pick
basketball
Houston to beat Duke, I mean, I'll just do the show myself because that would be just an asinine prediction.
Right.
Because
I didn't get that much hate for picking
what
Arizona.
Duke did to Bama, they held Bama to 65 points.
That was crazy.
That doesn't happen.
Yeah.
And
That's a team to
Bama
put
is
up
a
on.
good offense. Houston, LJ Cryer can shoot. Sharp, I believe Emmanuel Sharp, he can shoot. Bama scored 65 points against Duke last weekend.
That's scary. That's a team that put up
Houston may not
113
crack
points.
50 plus.
They held Tennessee. The Houston defense held Tennessee. to 50.
The Houston defense is phenomenal. I mean, Tennessee had 15 points in the first half.
Yeah.
That doesn't that's insane.
This game, the total of this game could be about 17 points.
Well, again, it depends on the pace. If Duke wins the run and gun, they may win this game by 30.
I think it's going to go similar stories for both games. I think if Duke's able to push the pace and get past the Houston defense, it's not even going to be close.
I
Duke's
agree.
going to wipe the floor. I think it's going to be the same thing for Florida-Auburn. If Florida's able to push the pace, get past the Auburn defense, I don't think it's going to be close because that's kind of the two things that Houston and the Auburn teams are going to be relying on in their matchups.
And I think I want to take Duke as well because I have a bracket challenge with a couple of my buddies from back home. No, I have Florida in that bracket actually.
Ooh.
So, but I'm in first place in the bracket, and I don't think there's any way anyone can catch me. So Florida wins, and I'm wrong in the national championship. That's fine because I win some money from my buddies back home. But if Duke wins, I'm right here, and the record is even better than what it is, and I just move past JB and Notar because they're so far beneath everybody else.
I'm kind of mad about my bracket challenge because I was like top something I was like top 99.5% in the whole country. I was great, and then like the Elite Eight started, and then I'm like,
And then
it's
wasn't.
gone.
Yeah.
I had picked St. John's. I know Notard was devastated about that. I knew they were losing.
Yeah, I didn't
they were a
think
good
they'd
team.
lose that early to Arkansas.
I
I
knew
thought
it.
they were going at Texas Tech in the Sweet 16.
I knew it. I knew they weren't going to do anything insane. It was just those final four picks what really messed me up. I had a lot of these 2 seeds upsetting what I thought was some weaker 1 seeds, but I was proven very wrong. Again, I don't think I was crazy to pick Arizona over Duke. That was a close game. That was a fun one to watch. Again, the fourth quarter, Duke was able to kind of pull through a
Yeah,
little
Duke
bit.
was up 19 at a point, and then Caleb Love went like super sane and
He almost-
scored like 16 straight points.
He almost won that game by himself.
Yeah.
That was unbelievable.
Now, you may not believe this, Jack.
Okay.
But I had a perfect East region in my bracket.
You were telling me about this.
Perfect East region. That's pretty crazy.
That is pretty
A
crazy.
perfect region
It's amazing.
for a kid in Utica. I mean, that's pretty impressive. I originally, like when I first looked at the bracket, I had like Liberty over Oregon. I had Akron over Arizona. Then I really sat down. I was like, Jeremy, let's think this through. What are you doing? You know? And obviously, I ended up picking the right teams to win my East region. If you want to talk about, I think Auburn's in the West. I'm not going to talk about that region. It's
Okay.
bad. But like the East region, that's where
Auburn's the
that's my
South.
bread. Auburn's in the South. So I'm not talking about that one. But yeah, the East region was my bread and butter this tournament. But again, I think it was one of, if not the softest region in the bracket. With obviously Duke being the powerhouse and Alabama being like it's the second best team on that side of the bracket. But again, Alabama didn't stand a chance against Duke. I think this team is just so much better than everybody else. And I think it's kind of them against the field. They kind of had it's been all year. Obviously, there's only 3 other teams in the race now.
Until
but this
that-
team is just head and shoulders above everybody else.
Until that Duke-Alabama game, I only had 1 pick wrong, and that was Vanderbilt over St.
And they were
Mary's.
up big in that. I know Nick Phillips had Vanderbilt in that game.
That was a
Figured
good
out.
pick. I would still pick that again. If you gave me that option, I'd still pick that. I think Vanderbilt a
JB
really
was
good
big
team.
on Vanderbilt too. He loves the SEC, but he hates Florida. I don't get that.
I don't understand.
He's very biased to SEC,
He's a very
but he
biased
hates
guy.
Florida. We talked about this after the show last week. I remember I was talking to Nico about it, and Nico's with me. But when we come to hockey, it's Devil's this, Devil's that. Jack Hughes, Luke Hughes,
He's a very opinionated guy.
Nico Dawes. I'm tired about Devil's talk.
So you're taking Duke over Florida in the national championship.
Yeah, I'm going national championship, Blue Devils, Gators, in the Natty, Cooper Flag, Con Knuppel, they reign supreme, and John Shire brings the national championship back to Duke. And I'm just going to put the check mark next to my name now and give me the Utica TV National Championship Winner Award.
We got to make a trophy, I think. Whoever predicts it, me or you. Because, I mean, there's no one else. This is the trophy.
I'll just take the trophy right now.
I'm taking Auburn over Duke. National championship. Final score prediction is going to be 79 to 77.
College basketball score predictions are very, very
It's impossible.
tough.
Because
Very
it's either
tough.
going to be 100 to 98, or it could be 69 to 50, like that Tennessee game.
Predicting basketball is tough. It's not like predicting football. I'm
Yeah.
not going to give a score. I'm just going to give my champion because I'm not going to come close to the score, and it's going to make me feel bad about myself.
Well, I just picked one, so I want you to feel bad with me.
All right, Duke beats Florida. I actually have it on my bracket. Duke beats Florida, 74 to 69. Nice.
Low scoring game. I like that.
All right, that'll do it for the Jack and Jeremy show this week. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe to Utica TV on YouTube. And as next week, we're excited to have the full 4J's band back together once again. We do miss JB, we do miss Notar very much, but we have mini tracks over here. And listen, that'll do it for Jack and I this week. Don't forget to fear the moose and catch us next week.